David Gower, here we are in the heart of the City of London, in Riley Sports Bar. What brings you here today?
Well, bizarrely, not sports, but prostate cancer. No, don't worry, I haven't got it, but lots of other people have. And it's part of this year's Men United campaign to highlight awareness of prostate cancer as a danger to men, and highlight the fact that we should all get checked. Something having reached a certain age, don't ask what that certain age is, but it's certainly there. Having reached a certain age, everyone should get a check, a regular check, to make sure they're not going to be another potential victim of prostate cancer. And because all of us as a rule are not very good at going to see doctors, are very good at ignoring symptoms, are very good at pretending something's not there when it is there, it's all about, as I say, just heightening that awareness, making sure people know what to look for, and making sure people are aware that it's there and something needs to be done about it.
And you say men aren't very good at this. Sportsmen in particular aren't very good at this. It's very taboo, isn't it? We're all very macho.
Well, I think sportsmen, as part of their psychology, tend to feel sort of invulnerable, tend to believe, partly because they have to believe that nothing's going to go wrong. They have to believe that, for instance, on the sports field, things are going to go well. And that's part of the art of building yourself up psychologically at the start of a day, start of a week, start of a month, start of a year, to do well. And so things like this tend to get pushed aside. But of course, one of the good things about sport, especially professional sport nowadays, is you have a lot of people around you who are medical staff or very close to it, whether they be doctors or physiotherapists or something akin to that. And so there are people around a lot of the time who might spot things that you might not spot yourself, whereas for the great bulk of the population who go to offices, who whatever their job might be, if they've got a job at all, whatever it might be, they're not normally or not necessarily exposed to that sort of medical attention. So for us, we've probably actually got a better chance while we're playing.
Well, as we've got you here, we must talk a little bit about cricket. Now, this time last year we were all looking forward to a wonderful summer of Ashes cricket, and lo and behold, it pretty much happened. 3-0, wonderful, thrashing. Onwards and upwards, off we go to Australia. Subsequently, carnage, utter carnage. David, have you worked out how all that happened, and can you give us any positivity going forward?
Sort of, and yes. How it all happened, my analogy, it was a sort of perfect storm, I think, where the Australians, we all expected to get better and to enjoy home advantage to some extent, but not to the extent that we actually saw over the 2 months of the Ashes this winter. England managed to find everyone out of form, or get everyone out of form at the same time in many ways. Normally speaking, put it this way, you'd have, say, a top 6 in your batting order, and if 2 or 3 get it right and 2 or 3 kind of get it wrong, you normally get through. You might not win games, but you draw games, you stay in a contest. Whereas this time round it seemed that to a man, they almost just decided, not what decided is the wrong way of looking at it, just happened to get it wrong. So the perfect storm hit us. The only thing I can say looking forward, because with a little bit of experience of drubbings from the West Indies in the 80s, one thing you do realise is just because you get beaten once very badly, it doesn't make you a complete no-hoper. As an individual, as a batsman, start again. You hope to come back, you hope to make runs, you hope to regain confidence and beat someone else. As a captain, you say, right, next opposition, this summer's going to be Sri Lanka, India. You say, we can beat them. We're good enough to beat them, we still have good players, and the great bulk of the side will be the same sort of people, the same people exactly who were there before. The great opportunity now is for the 3 or 4, for instance, who might slot in at the start of the summer, and there are lots of names going into the hat as we speak. There's a great chance to be part of what could yet again, and will again, I'm sure, become a very good side.
It is interesting though, isn't it? I bet when you got on the plane going to Australia, you wouldn't think a few months later, Peterson would be gone, Swan would be gone, Trott would have all his problems, Cook would find no form, Pryor would be dropped, Finn would be sent back being told he's not even selectable, and it would be 5-0. In fact, it was, they lost nearly everything. Nearly every time they turn up on a pitch, they lost. So it was incredible, really, wasn't it?
It was a question of anything that could go wrong did go wrong. As I say, so many of those things, so many of those aspects of the carnage, as you put it, none of us could have predicted that. All you could predict was that it should have been a closer contest. And looking back, it should have been a closer contest. Should have been a great contest, actually. Because with Australia playing as well as they did, if England had played anything like as well as they might have done, then it would have been something more of a contest, and therefore better to watch. Okay, it's done, it's dusted, it's locked away now in the Chamber of Horrors, and let's hope it never happens again. But as with all these things, I can't say it often enough, as with all these things, as a sportsman you're trained to come back and start again and try and look at the next game as the more important game.
Absolutely. Well, Messrs Cook, Bell, Anderson, Broad, you name them. They haven't suddenly overnight become bad players. They're world-class players. We assume they'll bounce back this summer.
Well, some of them certainly will. Others might, you never know. Others might still have problems. But you just try and get a team together. You've got new management. You've got a chance for a captain to assert himself maybe a bit more now. There are lots of opportunities there. It's just a question as to whether or not, and we won't know for the next 6 months or so as to whether or not people take it.
But whatever happens, we'll be seeing you helming Sky Sports Cricket over the summer.
I'll be there, yeah. Our first game is May the 9th up in Scotland, England at Aberdeen, weather permitting. And then we start with Sri Lanka ODIs, Test matches, India. It's a long summer, good summer. And as ever, we'll love every moment, I'm sure.
Fantastic. Thanks, David.